Okay, so let me just give you an introduction to inductive and deductive reasoning. Inductive reasoning is the process of arriving at a general conclusion based on observations of specific examples. So here's an example. I'm going to give you a list of numbers, and I want you to see if you can identify a pattern to find the next number using inductive reasoning. So if our numbers are 3, 12, 21, 30, 39. What's the next number, do you think? Okay, several people are saying that the next number should be 48, and I would agree with that. I notice that here I have one set of 3. This is 4 sets of 3, 7 sets of 3, 10 sets of 3, 13 sets of 3. And so in the second row, the numbers are increasing by 3 each time. So I would expect this to be 16 sets of 3 or the number 48. Okay, now let's compare that kind of reasoning with deductive reasoning. Okay, deductive reasoning is the process of proving a specific conclusion from one or more general statements. A conclusion that is proved to be true by deductive reasoning is called a theorem. So I'm going to give you an example just in everyday situation. Let's say that there are a couple of people playing Scrabble, and one player says to another in the Scrabble game, you have to remove those 5 letters. You can't use Texas as a word. Okay, would you agree or disagree with that? So the answer is no, and this is the process of deductive reasoning that you could go through to arrive at that conclusion. All proper names are prohibited in Scrabble. Texas is a proper name. Therefore, Texas is prohibited in Scrabble. So in sets, we have the union is or, the and is the intersection. But now in terms of the truth table, we have a disjunction and a conjunction that look like the V and the upside down V. So here's an example. A friend tells you, I visited London and I visited Paris. So we're looking at and. So in order to understand the truth values for this statement, let's break it down into its 2 simple statements. I visited London, we'll let that be P, and I visited Paris, we'll let that be Q. So there's 4 possible cases to consider here. So let's say your friend actually visited both cities. So P is true, that I visited London, and Q is true, that I visited Paris. So the conjunction would also be true. Now, what if your friend actually visited London? So that part was true, but they did not tell the truth about visiting Paris. And this part is false. Well, then the conjunction would have to be false. Or if they did not visit London, but they did visit Paris, again, the conjunction would be false. Or if they lied completely about both places, again, the conjunction would be false. Now, on the other hand, if this had been a disjunction instead of conjunction, disjunction means it's false only when both component statements are false. So in the case of the disjunction, you would have only had the disjunction false if the friend had been lying about both. So you can use the truth tables and some logic to go back and decide if an argument is valid or invalid.